Hey everyone, this is Anam. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be discussing the summary of lesson number 3 from the book Beehive of class 9, The Little Girl. The story is based on the theme of a young child's relationship with her parents. Sometimes, when children are growing up, they tend to misunderstand their parents. Sometimes they even think that their parents don't love them just because they are strict. But when they grow up, when they become mature, they realize that their parents had to be strict with them in order to prepare them for the hardships of life. The Little Girl, as the title is suggesting, is the story of a little girl. Her name is Kezia. Her family includes her mother, her father, and her grandmother. The story majorly talks about Kezia's relationship with her father. Her father is a very strict man. He hardly shows her affection towards his daughter, and he's not at all expressive. His strict behavior towards Kezia scares her to such an extent that she develops a strong dislike for him. Every morning, when he leaves for his job, she feels immensely relieved. Before leaving, it's his ritual to kiss Kezia on her cheek, but this kiss also Kezia finds too casual and she thinks it's nothing but a formality. In the evening, when he returns home, Kezia is terrified to go near him. When her mother tells her that go to your father, give him tea, help him taking off his shoes, she goes but unwillingly. And she never talks to him. She hardly ever talks to him. When her father asks her simple questions like, how was your day? What did you study at school today? She cannot answer even such simple questions without stuttering. As soon as her father starts talking to her, she starts stammering because she is so afraid of him. Her speech is perfectly normal when she's talking to other people, but when her father talks to her, she starts stammering. This annoys her father very much. Her grandmother is a kind lady and she makes several efforts to improve Kezia's relationship with her father. For example, she encourages her to go and spend time with her parents. On Sunday afternoons, her parents often sit in the drawing room, so she asks Kezia to go and sit with them. She goes, but instead of trying to talk to them, instead of making any effort, she just sits on a stool and she keeps staring at his father. Obviously, when her father wakes up and he finds Kezia staring at her, he feels annoyed. Once, her grandmother suggests her to make a pincushion to present to her father as a birthday gift. Kezia likes the idea and she starts making a pincushion. She finds a silk cloth and she stitches it from the three sides. But since she doesn't have anything to stuff it with, she goes to her mother's room and she finds some papers on the bed table. She takes those papers, she tears them into small bits, and she stuffs those papers in the pincushion. Next day, when her father cannot find his important speech, which he has to deliver the very next day, he gets furious. And when they come to know that Kezia had taken those papers, he punishes her by hitting her palms with a ruler. He gets furious. He scolds her like anything and he punishes her. This particular incident leaves a deep scar on her mind. Obviously, she was always afraid of him, she was scared of him, but after this incident, she couldn't go near her father anymore, and whenever he tried to talk to her, she always stood with her hands behind her back because that memory of that incident got refreshed in her mind. One day, when she was looking outside her window, she saw their neighbor, Mr. McDonald's, playing with his children. Mr. McDonald's is a happy-go-lucky person. He's playful. he's jolly and liberal. Kezia starts comparing her father with Mr. McDonald's. She thinks that Mr. McDonald's is a better father to his children than her father is to her. And she thinks that there are different kinds of fathers in this world and all fathers are not alike. Some fathers are good fathers like Mr. McDonald's and some are bad like her own father. But Kezia's this opinion about her father changes drastically after an incident. Well, her mother falls seriously sick and she has to spend a night in the hospital. Her grandmother has to accompany her to look after her mother, so Kezia is left alone in the house under the care of their housekeeper, under the care of their cook. Kezia is afraid of staying alone. Obviously, she's a little child, so she was afraid. So, that night when she was sleeping alone in her bed and her grandmother was not there to comfort her, she had a nightmare. When she woke up, she was crying and she was so afraid, and then she saw somebody. She thought that the cook had come to see her, but then she realizes that it isn't the cook. It's her father who was standing next to her bed holding a candle in his hands. When he learns that Kezia had a nightmare and she's afraid of sleeping alone, he carries her in his arms and takes her in his room. He tucks her nicely in his bed and he makes her sleep close to him. He hugs her and he comforts her. At that time, she realizes that her father has a kind heart. He's not a giant. He's not a huge man with huge hands and everything, but he's a man with a huge heart. He doesn't pamper her like Mr. McDonald's because he works harder than him to look after his family. He doesn't spend much time with her because he works all the time. He works so hard to look after his family. So she lays her head on his heart and comes to know that he has a big heart full of love and warmth. So that's all about it. That was the summary of this lesson. And with this story conveys a message that we should not judge our parents, right? Sometimes they cannot spend enough time with us because they are busy making a living. They are busy so that they could fulfill all our desires. So we should not judge them. If you found this video useful, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.